Hello everyone. In today's video, we are going to discuss the basic concept of straight lines. Under the section of straight lines, there are two subtopics which you have to know quite necessarily to understand the whole theory. So the first concept is the concept of slope of a line. Slope of a line can also be called as gradient of a line. Gradient. The meaning is same. So in this case, let us first consider a graph. Just a minute. So let us consider a straight line. Suppose this is a straight line on this graph. Now let us consider two different points on this straight line. Let this be point number 1 and let this be point number 2. Now if we drop a perpendicular line on the x-axis, this is x-axis, let the coordinate be x1. If we drop perpendicular on y-axis, let the coordinate be y1 for point number 1. Similarly, for point number 2, again if we drop a perpendicular line, let us consider the coordinate as x2, the point. And if we drop a perpendicular line on the y-axis, let us consider it as y2. Now if we join these two sections, as you can see, it forms a right angle triangle here. Let this be O, this point. Now the value of OP2 will be equal to this value, and this value is y2 minus y1. So this will also be y2 minus y1. The value of OP1 will be x2 minus x1. So the ratio OP2 and OP1, that is perpendicular by base. The ratio of perpendicular and base is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, which is known as the slope of line. This expression is known as slope of line. slope of line P1 P2. So what does this mean? We also know that perpendicular by base is also known as tan theta. Now what is this theta? This theta is the angle of line with respect to x-axis. This is theta here. This also theta. The meaning is same. Corresponding angles. So we also consider that slope of a line can also be calculated by using this trigonometrical identity, that is tan theta. This is only possible if the value of theta is known to you. This theta is actually angle of inclination. Angle of inclination. The angle of line inclined to the x-axis. If it is known to you, you can directly use tan theta. For example, if a line is forming an angle of 30 degree, suppose the line AB is forming an angle 30 degree on x-axis. So now you can directly say that slope of line AB is equal to tan 30 degree. Tan 30 degree, you must know the value from the trigonometric table, 1 by root 3. So this is the slope of line AB. Now slope of a line is denoted by small letter m. So I can say that this 1 by root 3 is equal to m of AB, slope of AB. Very simple. Now if two coordinates of a line are known to you, suppose this is a line and it is passing through two different points, point 1 and point 2. Let the coordinates of point 1 be 1 comma minus 1, 2 comma 3. So the slope of P1 P2, or we can say m of P1 P2, in this case we don't know the angle of inclination, so how to find out the slope? You will use this formula. As you can see here, it says that the difference of y coordinates and the difference of x coordinate give you the slope. So here for y part we will consider 3 and minus 1, and for x part we consider 2 and 1. So the difference of y, P2 minus P1, so 3 minus 1 divided by x2 minus x1, that is 2 minus 1. So it becomes 3 plus 1, that is 4, and 2 minus 1, that is 1. So that is equal to 4. So the slope of line P1 P2 is equal to 4. Is equal to 4. I hope I am clear with the concept of slope, how to calculate out the slope of a line under these two situations. If you know the angle of inclination, directly apply tan theta. If you don't know, then it's obvious in the question the 2 points must be given to you to find out the ratio of the difference of the points to get the slope. Any one situation will be given to you in the question anyhow. So you have to link the question with this theory always. Now, after calculating the slope, then only you would be able to calculate out the equation of the straight line. Unless you find out the slope, you won't be able to find out the equation. So it is necessary whenever you have been asked to find the equation of a straight line, you must first find out the value of slope of that particular line itself. Now after the concept of slope, let us proceed with the equation part. Now as you can see here, the same situation I am considering here. There was a line P1, P2 whose coordinates were given, which the line was passing through 2 points, and with the help of those 2 points we already calculated out the slope of the line. So first part is over. Now we can find out the equation of line P1, P2. To do that, what you have to do is you consider one more point. Randomly, we will consider a random point on the same line. The equation of whose line is supposed to be calculated out, we will consider a random point on the same straight line. Let the point be R, and the coordinates you will always consider as x, y. You will always consider the coordinates of this random point as x, y. Now, if I say that I am finding out the slope of RP2, the slope of RP2 will be equal to the slope of RP1, because it is on the same angle, same line. This will also be equal to slope of P1, P2, right? The same line, so the same angle of inclination. At any point, if we draw a x-axis, suppose here x-axis, here also x-axis, here also x-axis, in all the three situations the angle of inclinations are same, so it's obvious the slope will be coming out as equal. So therefore I have written slope of RP2 is equal to slope of RP1 is equal to slope of P1, P2. Now slope of RP2 will be equal to, first let us calculate the slope of RP2. Variable must be given as priority, so we will say y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 equal to slope of RP1, again y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 is equal to slope of P1, P2 already calculated here, that is equal to 4. You may consider any one of these two situations to get the value of equation of the straight line, and it will be same for both the situations. Suppose if we consider this first one and this is second one, let us consider this first one for now. So y minus 3 by x minus 2 will be equal to 4. Let us cross multiply. So y minus 3 is equal to 4 into x minus 2, so that will be equal to 4x minus 8. So finally 4x minus y minus 8 plus 3 minus 5 is equal to 0. This is the equation of this particular straight line. Now let us consider the second situation. Y plus 1 divided by x minus 1 is equal to 4. Now again let us cross multiply. So y plus 1 is equal to 4x minus 4. So 4x minus y minus 4 minus 1 minus 5 equals to 0. Again we received the same, we obtained the same equation. So it doesn't matter if you consider a random point with either of the points, you get the same value. It doesn't matter that either you're taking from P1, you're taking a reference from point P1 or taking a reference from point P2. It doesn't matter. The value will be same. The equation of the line will become equal only in both the cases. So this is how we calculate first the slope either by using tan theta or by using y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1 formula. After getting the slope value, you will consider the random point on the same straight line to find out the equation of the straight line. Now let us go through some laws of straight line. Now whenever the two lines are parallel to each other, consider this situation. Whenever the two lines are parallel to each other, let us draw x-axis. Suppose this is x-axis. So the angle of inclination you always have to go through anti-clockwise direction. Remember this part. Do not consider angle of inclination in this direction, it is wrong. So angle of inclination will be same. The value of this angle is same. Why, sir? Because corresponding angles. The two lines are parallel, so they will be corresponding to each other. So corresponding angles property, both the angles will be same. So therefore, let us consider this as theta 1, let us consider this as theta 2. So we say that theta 1 is equal to theta 2. So tan of theta 1 will be equal to tan of theta 2. So therefore m1 will be equal to m2. Let us consider the slope of this line as m1 and slope of this line as m2. So m1 will be equal to m2. So what does we conclude? We conclude that the slope of the lines will be equal if and only if the lines are parallel to each other. Now let us consider another situation where the lines are perpendicular to each other. Suppose these two lines, line L1 and line L2, these two lines are perpendicular to each other at this point O. Let us consider slope as m1 and slope as m2. The simple concept is the product of these slopes will give you minus 1. This is known as law of perpendicularity. Law of perpendicularity. This was law of parallelism. So in case of law of perpendicularity, the product of slopes will be equal to minus 1. So if you know the value of first slope, the next value will be negative reciprocal. If you know the value of second slope, the first one will be negative reciprocal. It is very simple. So these are the laws of parallelism and perpendicularity which we have to keep in mind. Now let us see how to calculate the slope of the line from the given equation of line. Now here I am considering again the same situation. As you can see, this is the equation of line P1 P2. So suppose for the particular instant of time you forget the previous theory. Now suppose if the equation of line is given to you, this is the line P1 P2, let us consider, and this is the equation of the line given to you initially in the question. Now you have been asked to find out the slope using equation of line. So what you have to do is, step number 1, you find the value of y in terms of x. Equation of line is been given as 4x minus y minus 5 is equal to 0. You consider the value of y in terms of x, so it will be 4x minus 5. If you shift y to right hand side, you get 4x minus 5. Now remember one thing, keep the variable x first and then the next term. This must be always kept in first term, variable x. And the coefficient of x, you all know that the slope is 4. Since the slope is 4, now you can see the coefficient of x is also 4. So therefore format comes out here, y is equal to mx plus c, where this c is constant. This c is actually y intercept. Y intercept means the line cutting the y axis at the point is known as y intercept. This is y axis, so this line must be cutting the y part at minus 5. Now the coefficient of x is, on comparing, is 4, so the slope is 4. So remember, whenever you are finding out the slope of a given line with the help of equation of the line, you just have to make y as the subject of formula, and then the coefficient of x will be the slope of the line. Everything has been correlated in the same example. So I have explained all the basic concept of straight lines required to understand standard 11 concept. If your concept of slope and finding out equation is not clear, then you won't be able to understand the basics of standard 11 as well. If you stuck up with some explanation in this lecture, then please rewind the video and go through the explanation again. We will see you in the next lecture with the concept of standard 11 straight lines. Till then, bye bye.